Welcome back to Midnight Signal AI. Today is June 4th, 2026, and we're looking at a dense 24 hours across model launches, partner ecosystems, monetization, and legal pressure.
The common thread today is that the frontier labs are moving in two directions at once, making their models more specialized for real work while also getting pulled deeper into regulation, distribution, and revenue questions.
Let's start with the biggest capability story, OpenAI's new GPT-Rosalind update for life sciences.
This is important because life sciences is one of the few domains where better reasoning can translate directly into expensive time savings. If GPT-Rosalind really helps with genomics and experimental planning, that's not just a chatbot feature, it's a workflow layer, and that's where sticky adoption happens.
And the naming matters too. OpenAI is signaling that it doesn't want every new model to be a blockbuster general purpose. Some of the most valuable gains now may come from highly targeted systems that sit inside a research team's process end to end.
Exactly. The key question is validation. In science, a model that sounds right is not the same as a model that is right. So the upside is real, but the bar for trust is much higher than in consumer chat.
Speaking of turning models into something operational, Anthropic introduced the Services Track and Partner Hub for the Claude Partner Network.
This is the kind of move that sounds boring until you think about how enterprise AI actually gets bought. Most customers don't want a raw model. They want implementation help, integration, governance, and someone to blame when it breaks. A partner hub can be a real moat if it keeps quality high.
And it pairs neatly with Anthropic's broader positioning. If the models are strong, the services layer helps make them deployable. That's how you move from being admired by developers to being embedded in procurement budgets.
Also, the timing is interesting because Anthropic has been increasingly associated with enterprise trust, not just raw capability. A formal services track says they're trying to turn that reputation into repeatable sales notion.
On the consumer side of the Claude story, Engadget has a fresh look at what's free in 2026 and what isn't, which is a reminder that access and pricing are now part of the competitive fight.
That's a useful reminder that the best model doesn't always win. If users can't figure out what they get for free, or if the limits feel arbitrary, they'll treat the product as unstable no matter how good the underlying model is.
Switching gears, Google's Gemini is rolling out a tool that creates a talking, moving AI clone of you, according to Android Authority. What makes that noteworthy is the shift from assistants to representations. A clone tool is not just about generating content, it's about putting a synthetic version of the user into the interface, which opens up creative upside, but also a whole new trust problem.
Right, because the moment the system starts speaking or moving like you, the product crosses into identity territory. That can make the experience more compelling, but it also raises the stakes on consent, abuse, and brand safety.
Now for the legal side. Patch says the Florida Attorney General has sued OpenAI and Sam Altman over ChatGPT's alleged risks.
This is the big reminder that once a product becomes mainstream, it stops being treated like a demo. ChatGPT is now so central that every safety claim, every design choice, and every edge case can become a legal argument.
And there's a wider implication here for the whole sector. The companies that move fastest on consumer scale are also the ones most exposed if policymakers decide the product has crossed a line.
Exactly. We're moving from abstract AI regulation to specific product liability narratives. That changes how these companies have to document, defend, and maybe even redesign their systems.
Related to OpenAI's consumer push, search engine Roundtable reported updates to ChatGPT's Multi-Advertiser placements and Ads Manager.
This one matters because ads inside an assistant are a very different product from ads around search. In search, you can separate sponsored results from organic results. In chat, the line is blurrier, and once that line blurs, trust gets expensive.
Let's finish the P1 run with one more OpenAI story. The The Times of India says ChatGPT has become the first AI app to reach 1 billion monthly users in just 3 years.
If that number holds, it's huge, not just as a vanity metric, but as a distribution fact. 1 billion monthly users means the product is no longer competing only on capability. It's competing on habit, default behavior, and ecosystem gravity.
Before we wrap, one quick Google-adjacent note. Android Authority's Gemini clone rollout fits the same pattern we've been seeing all week. More personalized AI, more embedded products, and more questions about where the line is between useful and unsettling.
Across all these stories, the pattern is pretty clear. The labs are chasing differentiation through specialization and packaging, while governments and consumers are forcing them to prove they can scale responsibly. The winners may be the ones that can do both at once.
That's it for today's Midnight Signal AI. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow. Until next time, keep building, keep questioning.